I'm Colin. Hello everyone, Ryan here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new Linkin Park album titled One More Light. Linkin Park were a huge nu metal rap rock band that slowly departed from their sound as the music industry shifted and music evolved, and now they've become this electronic sort of pop band that has left their core fan base wondering a little bit why they've changed their sound so drastically and wishing that one day they return to their old sound. Now, when I say Linkin Park were huge, I mean they were huge. They have sold millions upon millions of albums. Hybrid Theory was one of the biggest albums of the 2000s. In terms of sales, it was up there in like the top 10, I believe. And they have, headlined tons of festivals. They tour worldwide. They have pretty much one of the biggest bands of like this era. However, I'm probably not the first to say that I've never really been that big of a fan of Linkin Park. I think when I was in school, I liked a lot of their songs. I always thought Hybrid Theory was overrated. I mean, it still to this day is very overrated. It hasn't aged well at all. I think the people that love that album honestly don't realise that it actually sounds quite badly recorded, and the style of music they went for has just completely died out, and it never really aged well, and it never actually sounded very good at all. But I think Meteora is Linkin Park's best album. I think it's the most consistent. I think it has the album with most of their best songs on there, like Faint. I think that's a really great song, and there have been other songs spread across their albums that have been good as well. But as a person that doesn't really love the band, I've kind of always wondered why they've been as big as they are. But there are a lot of people out there that feel let down by the band because this new sound that they've gone for isn't really very good at all either. And those core fans want that Hybrid Theory again, and I can see why. This happens with a lot of bands when they drift away from their sound. Everyone always says, I want their old sound to come back, and I'm a sucker for that too. I've done it before with some bands, but it's just the way it is. And I think with Linkin Park, this is the best example of it, because this new album is just terrible. The word sellout may be overused in the music industry, but this album is the definition of a sellout. I mean, I cannot believe the production on this album. It is so squeaky clean. It's so like trying to be atmospheric, and like there are tracks that go for this like bombastic sound. Like they're not incorporating elements of dubstep, but it's similar to dubstep, and they're really trying so hard to appeal to the lowest common denominator and sound as trendy as they possibly can. They introduced this album with the lead single Heavy, which features the vocalist Kiara, and oh my god, this song is just one of the worst ballads I've heard in so long. Chester Bennington's vocals sound ridiculously melodramatic, the instrumental is washed out, and the fact that they featured Kiara on here, who had a hit last year in America, just proves that they're trying to bring on those kind of vocalists just to get that crossover appeal on mainstream radio. And if all they can get is mainstream radio in 2017, then the future of Linkin Park is looking pretty bad. Because it's really clear that songs like this and songs like Sorry For Now are just awful songs. I mean, come on, what is the vocals that Mike Shinoda is trying to do on this song? I mean, he really sounds like it's a Chainsmokers song. He sounds like he's the vocalist of the Chainsmokers, and then this really bad chipmunk vocal pops in, and oh man, it's just like they're appealing to an audience that doesn't exist. It's like they've heard a few songs that have this style, and now they're just copying and pasting all that bad stuff into this album. They even try and appeal to the hip-hop fan base that is currently like taking over music today by featuring Pusha T and Stormzy on the track, and the chorus on that song just sounds completely out of place in comparison to their rap verses. I actually don't mind their verses on the track, but it's just out of place. It doesn't fit at all. And then they close off the album with this indie folk jam, which sounds about 4 years out of date. I mean, even the Lumineers aren't relevant anymore, so why they thought this would work, I do not know. But it actually sounds like That Milky Chance guy, which had a hit a few years ago, he disappeared completely. I think the song was Stolen Dance. Like, the beat to the song sounds exactly the same to that. But again, I don't think anyone even remembers that song except for me and maybe a few other people. It's really just like the choruses on this album that really sound bad because it's just so corny, and Chester Bennington's vocals have never sounded so bad. I mean, like, you could argue that when he screamed, it wasn't like he sounded like very angelic or anything like that, but there was so much guts to when he did that, and he put passion into the way he sung, and like there was growls in his voice I actually thought sounded okay back in the day, but now it's like he's singing like oh, like it's just so terrible. So in case you haven't noticed already, I think this album is terrible. I'm not going to be the first to say that. I'm not, starting a new thing by saying that the new Linkin Park album is terrible. Everyone that's heard it so far has said it is terrible. So therefore, I would say this is an F. However, my review isn't ending there because I just want to have a quick talk about Linkin Park themselves. Because recently Linkin Park decided to alienate their entire fan base and tell them that they need to get over their most celebrated album, Hybrid Theory, and move the fuck on. Which might be one of the most arrogant things I've ever heard come from a band, especially considering you're telling the fans that are the reason why you guys are so big today to get over the album that made you millions and millions upon millions of album sales. Now the thing is, I can get that they're probably pissed off because everyone still refers to that album, and Linkin Park have clearly moved on, and they've showed their fans that they've moved on for this entire decade now. They haven't made like a rock album for years. But just to be that arrogant and tell people that no, who cares about that album now? We've moved on and so should you. It just feels like, I don't know, I don't like that statement at all. I honestly feel like this album, like they've released One More Light, I think this is like an absolute fuck you to their entire fan base, because I think this is basically them saying, we don't want those fans anymore, we're making different music, so if you don't like it, then you need to leave now. And obviously I don't know Chester Bennington, Mike Shinoda and all the other guys personally, but it does feel like this album is them saying like, this is it now, you guys that loved us before, you should just go away because we're not doing music for you anymore, we're doing music for ourselves. And that's fine, bands should make music for themselves, but you should also consider those fans that are disappointed with you as well. Don't be so arrogant, make something for them, do it for them. Because let's be honest, all those fans are the reason why you guys still headline festivals. They go to these festivals to listen to songs like Paper Cut, Faint, In the End, One Step Closer, all those older songs. No one goes for your Transformers song that you performed a few years ago. No one goes to hear Heavy. These are songs that no one wants to hear anymore. They're the reason why you guys are so popular. And it's just quite sickening to think that they're so above themselves that they can just tell their fans what to do just because you guys can't make good music anymore, because that's basically what it is. This isn't appealing to the pop industry, this isn't appealing to your older fans, this isn't appealing to the alternative crowd. There is basically no one out there that really likes this. So, to be honest guys, if your album sales start dipping completely below the surface, then don't be surprised, because people don't forget stuff like that. You tell the fans what to do, then people listen and people remember. So, I don't know, I think you just got to rethink your ideas and think maybe, it's time to start appealing to our old fan base again, because there isn't anyone out there that's liking this music that much. And if the old fan base doesn't like it, then it's not your fault or their fault, don't blame them. Just let them like what they like and you make what you make. Don't tell your fans what to do. And that's basically it. I thought that was a bit of a rant there, maybe went on a bit too long, but I thought it was something needed worth saying, because it really sounds like Linkin Park are absolute dickheads now. And yeah, I hope you like this review. Make sure you subscribe for more reviews and have a good day.